Hello there. Just admiring how carefully the fade is woven into this place, as cultivated as a palace garden.
That's old elven stuff for you. Magic everywhere you look, and also where you don't.
I do envy you, Rook.
Really?
A grey warden facing down peril in the distant Anderfells and beyond. Not to mention traveling with Varric, the adventures you've already had.
You cut a pretty intriguing figure yourself. Do you really think of me as some grand adventurer?
Well, something thrills at traveling with a dashing young man who's racing to stop an apocalypse, especially if he's shown unexpected interest in a new companion.
Before we get closer, I wanted to talk about myself a little. I'm a man, and I told people that most accepted me, but not everyone.
Oh, they are fools.
I have to agree.
I've always thought you are wonderful company, and if I might, I believe there's nothing so attractive as someone who's found himself. But tell me, my dear, if the attraction's returned.
You have a very charming way of putting things.
Well, thank you. And perhaps those years at the lectern have proved useful. May I show you something of the greater fade here?
Go ahead.
Close your eyes. Take a breath. Slow, deep. Be born on the great currents. See now as they see. When I talk to the dead, their echoes abide with me. Thoughts and passions, hopes and desires. The shades of death have greater depths than you may know, Rook. If your attentions go beyond charming flattery, that would interest me, indeed.
I think they already...
You finished the reagent. Excellent work, Manfred. I must tend to this, but I'd be delighted if we found each other later. How did you find everything?
Best meal I've had in a graveyard.
One advantage of being senior staff is requisitioning the kitchen's better cooks.
You did that just for me?
I'd hoped the evening might impress. The amount of work on you worries me, Rook. Responsibility exacts a toll on the body.
I have been more tired lately.
More so than you might even realize. I do ask that you at least avoid putting pressure on that stiff left wrist.
It's a little stiff. Impressed you spotted it.
Well, I am familiar with the finer points of anatomy. It's good we made time for this. A couple should get to know one another in comfort.
Time to dig into our feelings?
I'd be delighted if the mood moves you.
Devastating charm aside, what do you like about me?
Apart from the compliment of your interest?
Come on.
Darling, it's gratifying a fresh-faced adventurer noticed me at all. And your spirit does charm, but there's also something quite indomitable about you, Rook. It inspires.
Oh, thanks. What's your favorite color?
Well, can I only choose one?
Let me guess. Black? Green? Yellow, but like, bone yellow.
Lilac.
Of course you went to a flower.
It's such a pretty shade of purple. It brings thoughts of spring. And what's your favorite shade of color?
Rich purple. The kind you get with those really expensive dyes.
It's the color of royalty in some kingdoms.
Maybe I've got ambitions. Okay, so, Emmrich, I wanted to tell you something. You're my first anything. I've never been with anyone. Romantically.
We can move slowly. And I'm glad you chose me.
It's been good so far.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway, should we enjoy the garden?
Certainly. They're wondering what we're up to. Wisps are ever attracted to the gardens.
Like you?
The Fade is close here. As our spirits I count as guides and friends. Beyond that, I feel there are mysteries past our comprehension. Something beyond the weft of magic or deepest Fade. When I'm fortunate, I spy suggestions of them here.
You're so philosophical around flowers.
It's the purpose of the gardens, to lift our thoughts to something higher and finer than we are.
Like that?
Sometimes, my dear, I think you indulge me.
When I'm in the mood.
Emmrich, you and Rook visit the Necropolis lately?
Yes, I've been showing Rook around.
That have anything to do with the fancy dinner menu Manfred showed me?
He took... of course, those gilded edges.
The dinner was very romantic.
That's sweet. You two have fun.
Pests and rituals, they granted me my desire. The right to attempt lichdom.
Hold on. If you become a lich, then all this flirting we've been doing...
I should hate to lose your company while I'm still mortal.
What would you being a lich be like?
A vast leap. Flesh cast aside for bone, returned immortal for all.
Of Rupert and Eleanor of Volcarin. They walk eternity hand in hand.
After I became a watcher, I erected a proper shrine to my parents. When I come to talk, I like to think they listen. Well, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Rook, it's a pleasure. Do you remember your parents?
Some memories are bright. Others are akin to those dim early morning dreams one gets sometimes. Lately, I wondered what they'd think of our current course, the choices ahead.
Your lichdom.
What would they have wanted me to be?
Happy with someone who cares for you.
Shroud's Kiss. I've always loved the legend around this flower. They say it grows on lovers' graves, and that one moves closer to the fade simply by inhaling its fragrance.
Is that true?
It is when I will it, my dear.
What else?
What a day of unexpected splendor.
I heard another rumor, Emmrich,
What is your latest hearsay?
that you and Rook are getting tight. Making eyes, warming the cockles of your heart, tugging at the old bone.
That's quite enough.
Sure, but if you need any tips on hand-to-bone combat,
My dear young Devron, I know perfectly well what I'm doing.
make that your next book.
Themselves willingly. More works of precision laid low before finding their full potential.
You will have new subjects in recompense, whatever you wish.
Rook's Necromancer. An excellent subject to test how long one could go back and forth between life and death.
Inspired. Consider it done.
Don't listen to her, dearest. It won't come to that.
If they touch you, death will be the least of their problems.
So you're with Rook now?
We're exploring the matter, yes?
Good. I hope you two do good stuff.
Thank you, Tosh.
Just don't do corpse stuff in bed.
What?
No, sorry, you're right. It's not my stuff. Do corpse stuff in bed if you want to.
Thank you, Tosh, for the sentiment. Oh my! A body from the house of the Verheims, prepared during the Storm Age.
You're adorable when you get excited about things like this.
Well, who wouldn't be, darling? Such a rare find.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmrich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmrich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hezenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hezenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
Oh, he can talk. Manfred, say something else. come now. You just spoke.
We have to go.
Yes, yes.
Emmrich!
There are too many trapped spirits. I'm sorry. I can't. Another lash of power might end me.
What's that, Valkaran? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
He's still got twice your backbone.
I see Valkaran somehow did net himself a paramour.
Johanna! Listen to me. You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss...
I'll crush you myself if I must. It's touching that you brought your new friends to die with you, Valkaran. I'll be sure to bury you and your new lover in the same tomb.
Thanks for stitching that seam on my coat, Fred. It was coming loose. And nice new threads yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, we needed something to mark him as an apprentice around the Necropolis.
It's a good fit. See you around.
Yes.
Hi.
He's excited for his training. Manfred's spellcraft is coming along nicely, more or less. Some undead have the potential to cast magic. I believe his was unlocked by his journey through the Fade.
What was that like?
Dunno.
You mean you don't know?
Dunno.
We must work on that enunciation. Why don't you fetch the primer?
There goes our magic-flinging skeleton son.
I wouldn't go so far. Certainly I've a responsibility to educate him, and he'll need moral guidance. Most spirits do. But did you know? Yesterday, he said the most amusing thing while...
He's got your eyes.
As he grows, Manfred will better learn to take care of himself. I won't worry so much when I pass on.
How do you feel about that last part?
I have moments of regret for what Lichdom might have been. But none would make me exchange this for anything.
Spreading blight. Eruption is like an echo in my head.
Not for much longer, darling. We'll make it through this. Darling, I'm just finishing reviewing my bequeathments. It made me consider a topic I must broach. The eve before we kill a god, my thoughts turn to mortality and what we are to each other.
All right.
Even if you one day hear the Warden's calling, it's likely you'll still outlive me. You've grown to mean much to me, and I care for you, Rook. Deeply. But there are such years between us, I shouldn't heap you with that burden.
I get it. You're scared because you love me.
What?
It's fine to say it.
I can't. At my.
You're older than me, I get it.
I'm perfectly serious.
So am I. Why are you making this such a big deal?
One of us has to pay attention to these things.
One of us needs the guts to say how he feels. Look, let's pack. Eve before we face a god, right?
As you say. Don't start. Rook, darling, I wanted to say...
Yeah, about that argument.
It's no time to apologize, is it?
We'll talk back home, Emmrich. I promise. What did this...
Emmrich, you're okay.
Thanks to you, dearest. Now, to the fight! Rook, dearest, please trust me. I must take you to the Necropolis before we confront Elganon.
I trust you, Emmrich.
Thank you, darling.
Did we have to risk visiting the Necropolis?
I needed its subtler enchantments to detect what we must know. There's no mark of the cursed Solus left on you. Darling, I thought I'd lost you forever in the Fade.
If you and the others hadn't pulled me out. Know what I kept thinking in the Fade, Emmrich? I wasn't afraid I'd die. I was afraid I'd be there forever.
You're not. You're here with me.
I did have someone to come back to.
Rook? I was going to fetch some breakfast. Would you like anything? Come again?
What time is it?
It's nearly dawn. I've been up for an hour.
If you didn't have stately good looks, this would be a problem.
Is that yes to breakfast?
Maybe later. Peaceful down here. You could almost pretend nothing's wrong up top.
When I'm with you, it feels as if there isn't.
We could stay here just a little longer.
What are you... If you insist.
Throne room's just ahead. Everybody ready?
There's nowhere I'd rather be, dearest.
You got us here, Rook. Now give me a target so we can finish this.
Oh, it is purest relief to see us all gathered safe and sound. And Manfred would never forgive me if we returned without Nev. Elganon must fear what we might accomplish once we storm his tower.
We've already killed an archdemon and a god. We can do it again.
While Elganon's magic is fearsome, Solus is our true adversary. He is, however, a former spirit. As such, Solus cannot help but listen to appeals to his nature, his yearning for reflection.
I could try talking him down once I find him.
We should depart soon, dearest. How I wish we were already safely home together. I love you, my darling Rook.
I love you too, Emmrich.
Come what may, I will carry those words with me. I'd no idea we'd be drawn together when we first met. No man alive is more fortunate than I. Speak the word, Rook, and I shall stand by your side.